DePalma,
Here.
Marshall.
I'm here.
Oh, DePalma, yes. Hi.
Hi.
Marshall. Did I hear Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman,
Here.
Unruh,
Here.
Rumble.
Here.
Okay.
All right. Is there any questions on the agenda tonight? Anything need to be added or removed? No? All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay.
Support.
Bob, so motion by Kathy, accepted by, or seconded by Bob to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All
Hi.
those opposed? Motion carries. All right, so the first thing we have on here is the public hearing for the 2021 budget. I need somebody to open that public hearing by.
I'll make a
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so
I'll make a
Dana and then
motion.
Kathy, do you want to second it then?
Second.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody that wants to say anything about the 2021 budget during the public hearing? Any of the public want to say anything? Looks like they're
We
all.
need-
You need what,
we need-
Kathy?
We need to vote on opening the hearing.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. All right. So that was Dana made that motion. Kathy seconded it. So do we need a roll call on that one, Kathy?
I think so.
Okay. We'll go ahead and just do a
Okay,
roll call, Lisa.
Okay. Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right. Now that we did that, does anybody have anything to say about the 2021 budget?
No.
Okay. Anybody that's on here for the public have anything to say? Looks like they're all muted, but. All right. Doesn't look like anybody has anything to say, so we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Kathy, seconded by Dana, and we need a roll call vote to close it too.
Okay. Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay. All right, so we have all the reports in here. First, we have our treasury report, the general ledger report, designated report. There is no reconciliation report in here right today. And we have the building department report. Did Bill make it on here? Did you have anything to say about that if you did? He said he was going to try, but I don't see him. Okay, so the building department report, the rec report, doesn't look like Frank's here either. All right, so we have both the rec reports, the Edna B. Burton Senior Center. Did Faye make it? Nope. Okay, Raj, do you have anything to say on that or no?
Regarding the senior center?
Yeah,
No.
okay.
I have something in my clerk's report that'll cover it.
Okay, you can just wait till then if you want.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, and then we have the CDBG report. Did everybody get that email from Roz today?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
Okay, I will forward it to you or have her forward it to you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Jason.
Yep. All right, trustee reports. Bob, you got anything for tonight?
I have nothing.
Okay. Dana?
You want to skip me for a minute? My dog is barking and I'm the only one home.
Okay. All right, Kathy, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. I put in some correspondence for the Oakland County SISMA and what it is. We've been a member of the Oakland County SISMA since 2014. They offer a lot of benefits to our township, and with the passage of the Oakland County Parks millage increase, they will be able to do even more. I hope that this board will be supportive to Brandon's participation in Oakland County SISMA. They require members to attend their monthly meetings. I was the Brandon representative in the past, and I hope the new supervisor will not let our membership lapse. The monthly minutes need, this is something else now. The monthly minutes need to be proofread. In the past, Candy, Lisa, and I proofread them so that they would be accurate before being put into the packet. Lena does a pretty good job but the recording secretary before her had a lot of mistakes. So it's just something that everyone should be a little bit concerned about, because it's easier to correct them before they get approved than when they're at the meeting. And that's it for me.
All right. Dana, you want to come back to you?
Yes, the dog stopped. So,
All right.
I really just wanted to say, welcome to all the new board. It will be great working with you guys. And my committee meetings, my committee groups did not meet, but I wanted to hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and just wanted to say ahead of time, happy holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate, and happy New Year. Because after this meeting, I think we're done until the new year. So that's all.
Yep. Thanks, Dana. Steve, do you have anything tonight?
Well, since I'm the newest of all the board members, I really don't have anything. 17 days in, and I have done absolutely nothing other than review this packet. So I feel like I should be doing something. Anyway, I'm probably the most excited about being here, and I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And my last time I ran for this position, this is me being a little glib, Scott and Jason ran against me. They won. I want to thank them for not running for trustee again, so I get a chance to be on this board. So everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone. So thank you.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Rosalind.
Okay. So I just want to say hello and thank everybody for attending the board meeting tonight. And as I take on this new role, I just want to thank those of you who have voted for me and supported me along the way, especially the clerk staff. They've been very helpful during this transition. And it's a privilege to have this opportunity to serve the community. So I'm really excited and looking forward to the next 4 years. I am also excited to learn and grow, and at this time, I am signed up for some clerk classes to the MTA, along with a newly elected official class. The November 3rd, 2020 election has been certified by the county and the state. So with that said, this month I submitted for 2 reimbursements through the state of Michigan, one for postage and the second for supplies for the election due to COVID-19. The Edna Burton Senior Center is looking for a part-time driver for anywhere from 20 to 24 hours a week. So if you are interested, please contact the clerk's office for an application. We are accepting applications until December 18th at 4 o'clock. That's all I have, and happy holidays.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Being the first 2 or 3 weeks here, I really don't have a lot to report tonight either, but I just, again, like Rosalind said, I wanted to say. What?
I think we went past over the treasurer.
Yep, I sure did. Sorry about that, Scott. I skipped right to the clerk.
Actually,
Go ahead, Scott.
I was hoping you'd just forget about me.
Yeah, that happened to me at the last meeting.
Tax bills went out. They made it to people's homes by Tuesday, that's when they're supposed to arrive. And believe it or not, we had some people coming in on that Tuesday to pay their bills already. So some people like to pay those property taxes right away.
Yeah.
I was able to speak with Rosalind and Steve before this meeting, and they were both excited. And I almost felt like after their first vote, their official vote for the first time, I almost wanted to clap for them and say, yay. So that's all. Obviously, Merry Christmas to everyone, but that's all for right now.
Yep. Okay, so just to finish mine too, finish that up with a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, and looking forward to working with this new board that we got, and wish everybody a Happy New Year. Hopefully it's better than 2020.
Amen.
Okay, so we'll move right along. The correspondence, Kathy already touched on the first one in there. This is my membership, and they emailed me today, Kathy, so I'll talk to them. And then we have the MTA new officials that Ross put in there, the correspondence from them to take some new courses, and I'm going to look at going to one of those two. And Scott, I didn't know if you wanted to go or not, so we'll look at that. All right, is there citizens' comments now? Any citizens like to make a comment?
Hi, Jason. This is Faye.
Hey, Faye, sorry, I didn't see you earlier.
That's okay. I tried to get on, but I couldn't get unmuted.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to let everybody know that this month, as of right now, is our last month for the extra, what we call the dairy and produce program. Right now, it's only through the 30th of December, and I have not heard anything about it being extended. And like Rosalind said, we are looking for a driver. We're going to be short one of our two drivers in January for a few weeks. So it's kind of a desperate situation there. And welcome to the new board, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Faye.
And yep, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I don't see anybody jumping in, so no discussion tonight. The consent agenda, we have the regular meeting minutes. Oh, somebody trying to say something? No? Okay. Regular meeting minutes of 11/9/2020. Regular bills in the amount of $16,559.52. Prepays in the amount of $133,297.51. Township benefits from payroll, $34,598.89, and $312 in trustee timesheets. Would someone like to make the motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Kathy.
Support.
Supported by Bob. All right. Motion by trustee Thurman to approve the consent agenda as presented and seconded by trustee Marshall. I'm going to take a roll call on this. I read that we're supposed to do a roll call on everything for the Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to do that.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, that brings us to the unfinished business, and Kathy is finishing up the speed limit resolution she had last month.
Right. This was actually at our meeting 2 months ago.
Oh, that's right. It was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what I did is I made changes according to the concerns brought forth by the board. Trying to get to it here. And my papers are mixed up, so I can't find it. Wait. I think I got it. So this is a resolution, and it was promoted by, first of all, Independence Township, and then it was brought to the Oakland County Supervisors meeting, and so there, all the supervisors supported the lowering speed limits on gravel roads. Pretty much is what it is talking about. So I made amendments that we are in support of a speed limit of 35 miles per hour on gravel roads, and then I also included different places to send the resolution to. So other than that, it's pretty much the same as what was brought to the board a couple meetings ago. So the gist of it is the Township Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Brandon urges with all due expedience that diligent steps be taken toward action on and the enactment of legislation which would allow townships with the approval by the Road Commission to establish speed limits as low as 35 miles per hour on gravel roads based on criteria such as road conditions, topography, and traffic patterns, all of which are best known by individuals and their elected representatives residing in the locality. So that's about it. Does anyone have any questions? Also, I noticed, and I had a conversation with, I think Jason or Scott today about the state seems to be working on some kind of speed limit legislation, but it doesn't say it's specific to gravel roads. It just mentions.
Yeah, Kathy, that was me. I read that in the MTA magazine. I think that's where I saw it.
I think with the clarifications that you have in here for me, Kathy, I'm okay with it at this point. I'm still unsure whether the state's ever going to pass anything and let us do it locally, but it doesn't hurt to ask them.
Kathy, I have a question also.
Sure.
Kathy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think we talked about it the last meeting this came up, and that was the possibility of somebody other than the road commission putting the signs up. Did you explore that?
No, I have not.
Okay. I think that might be an option if it's something that's, because as long as the signs are the designated correct size and height, as long as they abide by all the legal standards for traffic signs, I see no reason why we have to be held in as hostage by the road commission. If we can find somebody else to do it and get a better price on it, it might be something we can explore.
Bob, you're not talking about just go ahead and doing that on our own. You're just saying when it comes down to the cost of doing it.
Correct, yes, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was interesting. Well, one thing I learned when we sat through the meetings, Kathy and I went down to Oakland County into Pontiac, and the state police had put on a seminar on this exact topic. And one thing I learned from that is, if you all recall, for people who have been here for more than 15 years, when we did have posted speed limits at 25 miles an hour. And I learned that those were all illegal. They were never legally set up. And pretty much if somebody actually did get a ticket, they could have gone and fought it because those were illegal signs. And that I found that interesting.
Yeah, there's set criteria for sizes, for heights, and other distance things that we have to abide by for the signs to be legal. If they don't fall within the criteria, they're not legal signs, and we can't hold people legally responsible if it's not a legal sign. So it's something we need to think about, but I certainly think it's an avenue we can explore if the time ever comes. I'll just make it a little bit cheaper than $99,000.
Yeah. It tends to be something that just comes up every couple of years when there's new people in office. Because I know we've talked about it at least 3 times when I've been on the board now. And I know Kathy's went to the state and talked to them trying to get them to do it, and nothing's ever happened yet. But
Right.
Well, I just wanted to throw in, I guess we haven't had a motion yet. I'll make the motion so we can continue this discussion.
I'll support it.
Thank you, Dana. I had been really averse to the 45, but once this was changed to 35, I'm on board with this if we can get that done.
yeah, if we ever get the permission, then it'd definitely be something we need to revisit.
Yeah.
So, Okay, so does anybody else have anything to say on this item?
No.
No? Okay. So we have a motion by Scott, supported by Dana, to adopt the speed limit resolution as presented. So I'll take a roll call on that, Lisa.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, well, that'll move us right into new business, and we'll start with the new hire assistant in the treasurer's office.
Yes, this is really just more housekeeping than anything else. We've already voted on this, but when we voted on it, I had left a blank line because I had not hired anybody yet, so I didn't have a name to put in there. You'll see a new face on the screen here tonight. Her name's Jessica Pearson, and she's been with us for a week already now, and she's doing a great job. I'm looking forward to the next few months as we both continue to learn things going on in that office. And she's been very helpful already just in the first week that she's been there. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Scott.
Welcome. Keep an
May
eye
I
on
be
Scott.
recognized?
What was that, Kathy?
May I be recognized by the chair
Yeah.
to speak? Okay. So I brought this to Scott's attention just because our policy indicates the township in the township operation manual that we kind of went out a step in our hiring procedure. So we did step 7 before step 6. So step 6 says the selected candidate be submitted to the board for approval, whereas last month we approved someone. So I just felt that someone needed a name. So I would like to go ahead and make a motion to hire Jessica Pearson as assistant treasurer in the treasurer's office according to the term and wages approved at the November 9th, 2020 meeting. I changed it up a little bit because I don't think we have to, I don't think we can go back and hire someone other before today, but we already decided to do that November 9th.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying according to the term and wages approved at the November 9th, 2020 meeting.
I've been for that. If you want to change the motion, that's fine. It comes to the same thing either way.
Yes.
I'm okay with the change in the motion, but if our records show that she wasn't really hired till today and she worked last week, is there an issue with all of that with wages, et cetera, paying and?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure everything's I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so everything's done correctly, so there's no issues.
Well, our motion at our last meeting allowed us to hire someone.
Right.
Right now,
Okay.
we're just giving that someone a name. So,
Okay.
so it's already been approved to hire her and at
Okay.
certain wages.
and her start date will continue to be November 30th.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure it's right.
All right. So Dana, you're going to support the motion as amended by Kathy?
Sure.
Okay. I thought you said you were. All right. We have the motion as she amended it by Kathy and supported by Dana. Can you get a roll call, Lisa?
Yeah. Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well,
All right. So Kathy, I'll let you take that one, the budget one as well, since you've put that in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
And just to let everybody know, it's really weird not voting last every time.
I'm sure.
And it's really hard to bite my tongue. So I'm trying as hard as I can. All right, so this is the Charter Township of Brandon General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2021. And as I already sent an email to Rosalind because she was asking about this, if you look at your new red book on page 232, it explains all of this and why we're doing it this way. So I do like to say enumerated in this act, so I'm going to read through this really quickly. I'm not going to read all the numbers, but bear with me. The Board of Trustees of Brandon Township resolves, Section 1, this title shall be known as the Brandon Charter Township General Appropriations Act. The supervisor shall be the Chief Administrative Officer and shall perform the duties of the Chief Administrative Officer enumerated in this act. The clerk shall be the fiscal officer and shall perform the duties of the fiscal officer enumerated in this act. Pursuant to MCLA 141.412, MCL 141.413, notice of a public hearing on the proposed budget was published in a newspaper of general circulation on November 21st, 2020, and a public hearing on the proposed budget was held on December 7th, 2020. Estimated Township General Fund revenues for fiscal year 2021, including a voter authorized millage of 1 mil or less pursuant to Headley rollback, reserve funds, and various miscellaneous revenues shall total $2,578,636. The Charter Township of Brandon Board of Trustees shall cause to be levied and collected the general property tax on all real and personal property within the township upon the current tax roll and allocated millage of 0.9652 mils township operations. And just so everyone knows, we used to have over 1 mil appropriated for the general fund, but the Headley rollback has moved it down. And when it was over 1 mil, we only charged 1 mil. So it's only been up to 1 mil. Now we're less than 1 mil, but we're still able to operate the township on less than 1 mil. Okay, and voter authorized millage of 3.6 for police contracting, 3.4 mils for fire operating, and 0.9905 mils for fire department equipment and housing. Estimated total revenue and expenditures for the various funds of Charter Township of Brandon are as presented. Included in the various departments are amounts of the salary, hourly, and per diem rates for the officials and employees of the township as presented. So you can read through all that because that was at a prior meeting. Then that brings us to Section 9, and the budget is presented as well. In the bullet, the darkened numbers at the end are the 2021 proposed budget numbers, and that's what we're actually approving today. The Charter Township of Brandon of Trustees adopts the 2021 fiscal year general fund budget by department. Township officials responsible for the expenditures authorized in the budget may expend township funds up to, but not to exceed, the total appropriation authorized for each department and may make transfers among the various line items contained in the cost center appropriation. However, no transfers of appropriations for line items related to personnel or capital outlays may be made without prior board approval by budget amendment. Appropriations will be deemed maximum authorizations to incur expenditures. The fiscal officer shall exercise supervision and control to ensure that expenditures are within appropriations and shall not issue any town order for expenditures that exceed appropriations. The township clerk shall provide the township board at the end of each of the first 3 quarters and at the end of each month occurring during the 4th quarter a report of financial operations, including but not limited to a summary statement of the actual financial condition of the general fund at the end of the previous quarter, a summary statement showing the receipts and expenditures and encumbrances for the previous quarter and for the current fiscal year to the end of the previous quarter. And that's what we get in our financial reports that we get in our monthly packet. And there was some discussion by the board of not getting those printed every month. So we should get them at least every quarter, and I think getting one in December is important. So if we do go to quarters, I would recommend December, March, and so on. No obligation shall be incurred against, and no payment shall be made from any appropriation account unless there's a sufficient encumbrance balance in the appropriation and sufficient funds are or will be available to meet the obligation. Whenever it appears the township supervisor or the township board that the actual and probable revenues in any fund will be less than the estimated revenues upon which appropriations from such fund were based, and when it appears that expenditures will exceed an appropriation, the township supervisor shall present to the township board recommendations to prevent expenditures from exceeding available revenues or appropriations for the fiscal year. Such recommendations shall include proposals for reducing appropriations, increasing revenues, or both. So I will go ahead and make the motion to adopt the 2021 Charter Township of Brandon General Appropriations Act as presented.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Somebody want to second that?
I will.
Thanks, Steve. All right, the motion was presented by Kathy, or sorry, supported by Kathy as presented and seconded by Steve. Lisa, can we get a roll call vote on that?
Sure. Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
No.
Marshall.
You're muted, Bob.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thurman. Okay.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, so that brings us to the DTE streetlight conversion. Scott, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, just quickly, this is an option for us to convert all of our older streetlights to LED, and as a result, we'll be able to save nearly $10,000 a year after the first 2 years. And I say the first 2 years because the first 2 years savings will really be used to cover the cost of the conversion. The conversion costs $23,146. We get a rebate after the work is complete of $2,958 for a final cost of $20,188. So based on our current electric rates, it's going to be a payoff of 47% a year. That's going to be guaranteed rate of return of 47% forever. And that number is actually going to go up as electric rates go up. So this is a kind of in my opinion, it's a no-brainer.
I'll make the motion to.
I'm sorry, Dana. Could I be
Kathy
recognized for discussion?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand that we're changing the GL that we're going to pay this from. Jason, do you have the correct number there?
Yeah, it's 101-450-920-000. Is that 920 or 720, Kathy?
920.
Yep, that's what I thought.
What are the last three numbers, Jason?
920.000.
Okay, and that was that's the actual street light account that we have.
Yep, and
okay.
that'll be in 2021. That'll be paid out.
Right.
But go ahead, Kathy. You wanted to add something to that?
Yes. So Scott, being as diligent as he is, brought this to my attention and said, hey, we can save some money for the township by changing our lighting to LEDs. And so I said, that sounds great. I'll give him a call and see if we can get an estimate. So I just wanted Scott to know that I do appreciate his diligence in pursuing this. I think it's a great idea. I think it will save the township a lot of money in the long run. And I think if they can get it done even this spring, we're going to save some money right off the bat. And Dana, I'm sorry, but we discussed changing the motion. So if you don't mind, I would like to make the motion. Is that okay? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize the purchase agreement with DTE Energy to replace Brandon Township's older streetlights with LED lighting at the initial cost of $23,146. A rebate of $2,958 will be issued after construction. The cost of the conversion project will be paid from 101-450-920-000 street lighting, and will need to be amended in the 2021 budget from $26,000 to $46,000, which is an increase of $20,000.
All right. Dana, did you want to second that, or does somebody else want to second it?
I'll second it because then I want to do a little discussion.
Okay. Go
So I'll
ahead.
second it. And then for my discussion, I'm all for this. I think it's a great idea. Love saving money, love finding ways to, save a lot of electricity. And I'm okay, as I said when I talked with Jason before about this, if we put it into the street lighting fund or if we put it into, because we're still using it with our COVID CARES money, correct? Is that what we're using this from or no?
No. We're not going to use that. We're going to just use the carry forward.
We're just going to use the carry forward. Okay.
Yeah, we have a positive net. If you look at our budget that we just passed for 2021, we have a positive net of $41,971. So it will decrease that by $20,000.
Okay, so it's just going to be carry forward. So before they said they were using the COVID funds, so that's why I had suggested the other account so we keep track of what we use the COVID funds for. So I don't care where the money comes from. I think it's a great thing to do. I just wanted to verify if we were still saying we were using that $75,000 part of it.
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, I still second it and I'm all for it.
All right, we have a amended motion by Kathy and supported by Dana. We'll go ahead and take a roll call on that one.
Sure. Blair?
Yes.
Bratton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. All right. So that brings
could I just say one thing? So according to MCL 4210, one of the duties of the supervisor is to manage and supervise the operation of all township utilities. So Jason and Scott are working together really well, and they've told me they're gonna work on this project together, but ultimately it's going to still, the responsibility of it will still fall on the supervisor.
Okay, so we'll move into the budget amendments. So we have 4 items, and they're all explained on here.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
When you turn your head, we're losing your volume.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You're muffled.
Sorry, we have 4 spots on here that need to be amended. They're all explained why in each of them. And then the corresponding amendments are at the bottom. So was there any questions on this?
This is for the 2020 budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure because the other one's not on there that we just.
Correct. Because that'll be reflected in 21.
I just wanted to say that regarding the amount that was paid for gravel on the roads, I thought I asked them to just spend $30,000, but the bill came back a lot higher, and when I saw it, I thought it was for chloride. So when I approved it, I wasn't thinking straight, so I just apologize for that. And there's nothing we can do at this point to use tri-party instead. So I appreciate this budget amendment going in place. And I did call the road commission today. They did apply 2.4 miles of gravel in our township this year. So I'm sure the residents are appreciating that.
Yep. Does anybody want to make the suggested motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Dana. Any second?
Support.
Was that Bob?
Yes.
Marshall?
Okay. Yep. Okay, we have a motion by Dana and supported by Bob to approve the suggested motion as presented. Roll call on that, please.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. All right, and then let me unmute Bill here. The next one is the second reading of, I believe that's Randy Wise, his new property. So, yep, Bill, you're unmuted. You got anything to say on that?
Just that this was at your last meeting. It was approved for the first reading. It's now for the second reading, which will actually rezone the property, which will allow the applicant to move forward with achieving a special land use and get their site plan approval for the work that they intend to do. I'm pretty sure you're aware of it from last meeting. This will entail the removal of 2 buildings and the redoing of the entrance and turning those areas into additional parking space for the Randy Wise dealership. The one building in the back will remain as a car prep building, and they're starting to use that now for that purpose. So this will just allow them to move forward with their process.
And there's no change. There's no changes with the second reading?
None.
Okay.
Thank you. Or Bill, when is Paramount moving to their new facility then?
I don't know the particulars. I do know there are some contractual issues.
Yeah, they still
between
have
the
time
seller
on
and the buyer and what's happening there, but I'm not privy to that information, so I can't answer that right yet.
Are you privy to tell us where they're moving to?
I don't know that either.
Oh.
I would tell you if I knew, but I don't know that, so.
I just hope they're staying around. They're a good business, so.
I know where they're moving, but I'm not going to tell you unless they want me to.
That's okay.
You're good.
That's okay.
They're not going anywhere.
I just didn't know if it was public knowledge, so I asked
not
first.
yet.
I understand. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, my dog.
All right. So does somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, Bob. Somebody want a second?
I'll
Support.
second.
Who was that? Who seconded that?
I did and somebody else I thought did.
Oh, Rosalind did?
Rosalind?
Okay. All right. So we have the motion by Bob as presented and supported by Rosalind. We get a roll call on that, please.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one, Rosalind, for the prepays.
All righty. Okay, so I'm going to make the suggested motion to approve all 2020 invoices effective immediately to process as prepays by the bookkeeper.
I'll support you.
Thank you.
So the suggested motion was made by Roz and supported by Dana. Oh, is there any talk before we vote on that? Anybody got anything to say? No? Okay. So Lisa, we're gonna need another roll call, please.
Okay. Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay. All right, so the next one is the police parking lot at the substation, and Greg is on here too if we need him for anything, but the owner of the parking lot that we utilize in the back of the building has been letting us use that property for 23 years at no cost. We do have some expenses there. You know, we asphalted it and we take care of the plowing, but that doesn't cost us any money either because that's done by the a friend of Lieutenant Glover's. So, but the police put down the salt, so they do a lot of the maintenance themselves. But anyway, the owner approached me. We do have a contract with him dated back to 1997. It is a license, which means he can revoke it at any time. He does not want to do that, but he does want to start charging rent. So he approached me with that, and myself and Lieutenant Glover and Stewart have all reviewed this. We negotiated it with him and got him down on his price a little bit, but basically we're looking to get this approved, and he will start receiving $100 a month in rent for letting us use that property for the substation. Greg?
So is this the property that's right behind the substation, right? It's not the public
Yeah,
parking that's
It's
across
where
the
they
street
park those
that they
4 or
use,
5 cars right behind there, right behind the insurance building.
connected to the building?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my only question. I was trying to figure out which parking area that
Yep.
they use.
I'd like to be recognized.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. I've looked at this pretty thoroughly, and we got printed an overhead of how much property it actually is, and it's actually just half of the parking area behind the substation. And I was wondering if the owner knew that, but anyways, I was able to look at the current contract, and apparently the owner does know that it's only half the parking lot.
Yeah.
And just, Jason, if I could make a request, if you're making an amendment to something, could you also include what we're amending?
What are you talking about?
The future, like the contract, if you could include in the packet the contract that we're amending. Because we have an amendment to a contract.
Oh, you mean the original contract?
The original contract, yes.
Yeah, well,
Just so
technically that's not even valid because the people who signed it improperly, but
okay. And it was Pat Alexander back in.
the clerk notarized her own signature, which you cannot do.
Oh.
So. But hey, no foul
Okay.
after 23 years, I guess.
Yes, really.
But yes,
So
I can do that.
Okay, great, thank you. So I would like to go ahead and make this motion, and I'm going to amend it a little bit so that
Okay.
we don't have to come back next time with a budget amendment.
Okay.
To approve the first amendment to license agreement for use of the police substation parking lot as presented, create a parking lot rent expenditure line for the $1,200 annual expenditure, and amend the 2021 budget accordingly.
Okay.
And
I'll
Lisa, if you
support.
need any information, I mean, tomorrow I'll be available if you aren't getting all of this.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank
I'll
you. So Dana
support.
seconded. Yep. Thank you. Okay. So Kathy made the motion as amended, and we will get that to Lisa so she has the right wording, and supported by Dana. Can we get a roll call vote on that as well?
Okay, Thurman,
Yes.
Conroe,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay. That brings us to the subcommittee appointments. So I have all the subcommittees listed out there and who I spoke with about appointing to all of those. The election commission is appointed by the clerk. Rosalind and I did discuss that. And she asked me to just put it on my motion so we didn't have to do two separate ones, but those are her appointments and not mine. The rest are from me. And they're all listed out there. Any questions on that or any talking points?
I'll make the motion as suggested.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Support.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, so the motion is made by Scott as presented, supported by Kathy. We'll take a roll call vote.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay, that brings us to the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act. And Kathy, you had mentioned you wanted to talk about this a little bit, so I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is Act 152 of 2011. I just wanted to kind of give a review to everyone regarding our revenue sharing. So if you look at in your budget at lines 101, 100, 574,000 and 575,000, those are the lines for our constitutional sales tax revenue sharing and our what was used to be called statutory sales tax revenue sharing. So they both are portions of sales tax that Michigan collects. And you'll notice that our constitutional sales tax revenue sharing comprises almost half of our revenues. So it's a big chunk, and we rely heavily on that. So the reason it's called constitutional is it's in the Michigan Constitution that they have to provide that to us. So the statutory portion of it, which is around $48,000, I think, nowadays, they don't have to give that to us. So they've kind of been jerking us around, all townships, I should say, for the last 10, 12 years or so. Because in 2008, all townships received statutory revenue sharing. And then soon after that, and it was because of the recession, it was taken away from everybody. So none of the townships got any statutory revenue sharing. And then they decided around 2011 or so that the larger townships would get a portion of the statutory revenue sharing back. And then they started with these what I call non-compliance threats. So first was this one, Public Act 152. And the state, because of the recession, the state wanted to make sure that townships weren't spending too much money on employee health care. So they came up with these hard cap limits for everybody to follow. But when they did the legislation, they made a provision that allows townships to opt out. And that's what we've done ever since they made that legislation, so that because we are concerned with how much we spent, and we did move from a PPO, which was very expensive, to an HMO. So we did cut back quite a bit, but we still wanted to offer a good health care plan to our employees. So we've been opting out every year since that legislation went through. And then they decided that we had to provide a dashboard for our website, or else they take away our statutory revenue sharing. So we hired Munitrix, and they've been great to work with. And I think Jason's already had conversations with them, and they make sure that we're compliant with the state so that we get our revenue sharing. And then there was the personal property tax. They decreased the personal property tax to businesses. And when doing so, they took some of our statutory revenue sharing to compensate for that, and that has at this point been returned from other sources that they found. And then right now they're kind of threatening to decrease it because of COVID. So this is all with the state sales tax for the statutory portion, which they've now renamed to CTV revenue sharing, which stands for Cities, Townships, and Villages revenue sharing. So I just wanted to throw some history out there on what this is all about.
Okay, thank you. Somebody like to make that motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. Somebody support it?
Second.
Steve, thank you. All right, so motion by Bob Marshall to approve as presented, supported by Steve. Roll call, please.
Yeah, hold on, Jason. I just wanted to mention, I'm gonna have to go back and pull my magazines, but in either 2 or 3 months ago, there was a really good article regarding this revenue sharing, the sales tax revenue sharing. And I'll pull the article or pull the month and the page. It was 3 or 4 pages, but it was really informative, and maybe especially for the new folk, I'll find that article because I think you should read it because it'll help you understand what we're doing here. It doesn't talk about the healthcare part of it. It's just really how the revenue sharing works. That's all.
All right, thank you. Lisa?
Okay, Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, that brings us to the last item of new business, and Rosalind?
Okay, so I am going to make a suggested motion to approve the 2021 Brandon Township board meeting and a holiday schedule.
Okay. The only thing I did notice on there, Rosalind, I just noticed it now, was next to Friday, December 31st. It doesn't say New Year's Day, but I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's still.
Well, I
everyone
noticed that
else's
too.
labeled, but
No, because there's like a blank area, so it's kind of like what needs to be there. I
Right.
get it. So, and I kind of went into the policies and looked into this, and I think it's correct because New Year's Eve falls on a Friday, and then Saturday is the holiday. Well, we can't go to the day before because that's a holiday, so it bumps back to Thursday.
Gotcha.
That's why we have because we're running into the weekend when the holiday is falling on the weekend.
Yep.
And I did look at the policy and see that like if it was on a Sunday, it would go to that Monday. And because it was Saturday, it goes to the Friday, but it was already a holiday, so that's why we're at the Thursday.
Okay.
Do they
So you
get both? Do they get both days when it falls like that, or is it just New Year's Day is taken as New Year's Eve day on the Friday, or is it in our policy that you get New Year's Eve day too? That
I
would
can
be
grab
my.
you the policy and read it to you if you guys would like.
That would be my only question. I didn't know if they get both days for that.
Well, yeah, because we typically get New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Okay,
Right.
so we typically do get New Year's Eve.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, then that would make.
If you want, I can grab the policy book.
No, I trust you. I was
Okay.
just questioning because I know with it being on the weekend this year, I've been dealing with that with my work of trying to figure out what's going to be observed by the hospital for the doctors and stuff like that. So that's what I was trying to figure out. They usually get New Year's Eve, so then that would make sense.
I was really confused when I seen it too. It took me a while to understand it, but then when I went back and kind of read it, it made sense. But at first I was really confused, to be honest.
Right. So this year you get off Thursday, the 31st, plus Friday, the 1st.
Yeah, so it should look like
so it
Christmas
makes
Eve and
sense.
Christmas Day above it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the only
Yep.
thing is on this piece of paper, it needs to say New Year's Day underneath New Year's Eve.
Right.
Okay.
Even though it's
We're
not-
observing those.
Even though it's not really New Year's Day, even though it's New Year's Eve, but it's observing for New Year's Day.
It could say New Year's Day observed.
Observed. Yes,
Right.
that's what it needs to say, yes. And New Year's Eve should say observed too.
Yep.
So if both of those said observed, then, and then even Independence Day, the July 5th should probably say observed too then, correct? Because it's on a Sunday this year.
Probably.
Are you saying this year or next year, Dana? Because this is
Next
for
year.
Next year's 2021. I'm talking next year, 2021. The schedule we're working on is why I said this year, but yes, next year. 4th of July is a Sunday.
Right, so Independence Day observed.
Yep.
Right. Now, Thanksgiving Day probably doesn't need to say observed, or New Year's Day doesn't need to say observed then. So only the days that are not the official holiday should say observed.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I didn't like look at this earlier to tell you, Rosalind, I didn't even like think about observed and not observed.
Nope, that's all right.
So as long as it's, the motion's to amended, if you're making your motion amended, Rosalind, I'll support you.
Okay.
Okay, I will amend it with the observed on the calendar, and then, so it'll say New Year's Day observed with, Independence Day observed as well. So yes, it'll be amended.
Yep. Okay, so we have the motion as amended by Rosalind and seconded by Dana. Lisa, can we get a roll call, please?
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay, that finishes up new business and brings us to citizens' comment on anything. Is there any citizens that want to make a comment? All right. Doesn't look like anybody's got anything to say. Closing board comments. Dana, do you have anything?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you next year.
All right. Steve, do you have anything to say at the end?
Yeah, easiest board I've ever attended. Oh wait, it's my only board I've attended. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everyone, and let's get this year behind us and start something new.
Amen.
So, thank you.
Thanks. Bob?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a productive year with the new township board. I'm excited about what the future holds. I'm wishing all board members and citizens a blessed Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. And may 2021 be a much calmer and less eventful new year.
Here,
Agreed.
here.
Thank you. Kathy?
Yes, good job on your first meeting, Jason. You did a great job. The meeting
You
only
appreciate it.
lasted an hour.
Hey, December's always pretty easy.
So I think the new board's off to a good start. I look forward to working with everyone for the next 4 years. So far, so good. I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
All right. Rosalind?
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to working with everyone on the board. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Scott, you got anything else, bud?
Just Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right. I do not have anything else. We've all, that's other than what I said at the beginning. So I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Kathy?
Board,
Everybody support? Was that Bob?
yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Bye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a
Good
good night,
meeting.
everybody.
Sorry, my dog was.